I used to think like that. But once I understood the concept of octaves, so you have to realize every frequency they operate in octaves. There's 200. So let's go back to like the lowest 20,
Mhm.
from 20 to 40. That's an octave right there.
Mhm.
An octave on the keyboard, that's an octave. 20 hertz to 40 hertz. You play keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Like from C1 to C2, that's an octave. How many frequencies do you have between C1 to C2? Like 12 notes.
Right.
So if you visualize those frequencies, that's how big gap from 20 to 40 hertz. But 20 to 40 hertz in a bass frequency range, because low frequency is so big,
Right.
you can't really work with much between 20 to 40 hertz. If you play a low frequency in this room, you know how big it is? It's going to fill up this whole room, just 20 hertz. The
Right.
size fills up this whole room
Right.
in size. So you can't really do much. Then from 40 to 80 hertz, that's another big gap. That's an octave right there. Then from 80 to 160, that's another octave. Let's call the 80 100. So it's even number. So 100 to 200, that's one octave. There's 12 tones in between that. Then from 200 to 400, that's another octave. And there's 12 tones in that. So you have to think about it like this. In the lower range, don't mess with too much of the gap in between because of the size. But when you crossing over to the mid range, then you can take stuff out in between. See, if I were to do that in the lower range, because the lower range is so big, I probably wouldn't do it so close like that. I would do it in octaves. I would take 20 out and put one of them in 40s,
Mhm.
and take one at 80, put it down. So I'm working in octave.
Right.
But in mid range, because mid range is smaller frequency, I can work in between the octaves.
Right.
I can do between 100 to 150, and between 150 to 200. And the more you go higher, the wider the space is
Right.
to be able to work in between. Does that make sense? Or
That
is
makes
that,
perfect sense.
yeah. So I'm
Absolutely.
thinking of them as octaves.
Right.